Hey guys, Ashley here. So we've been talking about how to deal with stressful situations. A couple of friends have agreed with me over the last few months that my life has been like a Greek tragedy. I've been through multiple, but we've mostly just been talking about one. And the first time we talked about how you focus. You focus in on one situation and put your energy and strength into that and not everything that's going on. And then the next time we talked about how you process, you step back, you like think about how you're feeling about the situation and decide how you need to go forward. So the next step, the third step in a stressful situation, is you break. And that probably sounds horrible, so I'm going to explain the story a little bit and then I'll come back and talk about that. So when I was in residency, I worked in the NICU with the little babies that are usually born premature and have a lot of problems. And so we do all these interventions initially, kind of get the child stable, and then mostly we just make sure they're eating and growing. Because there's some more interventions that we usually have to do as they get older, but usually we'll wait a couple months till they're bigger. They just do better with it. So we get child to a certain size, and then we get them home for a while. So we had this one patient that was going to have a cardiac surgery when they turned 6 months old. They'd already had several things, but were doing well. And so the attending asked me one day, like, what do you want to do with this patient? And I said, well, we're not having any more complications. I think we should work on getting the child home. And the attending goes, what are you talking about? We're not sending this child home. That's ridiculous. And I said, sorry, we sent everybody else home. I don't. So then he goes, okay, look, this child's family does not speak English. If this child goes into heart failure, they're not going to be able to explain to an ER what to do. We can't send the child home. And I actually stood back and I was like, no, I mean, we can't keep the child admitted for 6 months because of that. I mean, we could think of some ways around that, but the attending was adamant we weren't going to change that. So about a year later, I find out basically the child is still admitted to the hospital, has been admitted for a year because all these things happened I won't even go into. Anyway, I see the child's sibling for a checkup, and the child's sibling has gained 50 pounds, 50 pounds in 1 year. And that's because, surprise, surprise, mom is at the hospital with sibling. Dad is working 2 and 3 jobs because hospital bills. And he will take the child a pizza, and the child eats the whole pizza because why not? Gosh, that was not even the extent of what was going on when you delved into it. We had so many problems. We caused so many complications for this family. Now, we did a lot of good things for this child. The child wouldn't have survived without medicine. But it broke my beliefs. Because at the time, I guess I kind of, on some level, believed that medicine was inherently good. That we made these decisions for people that sometimes, had, you had to go through a surgery or whatever, some side effects, but were the right decision for people that were always in their best interest. And somewhere between this child and my own story with meningitis, I started to see all the problems that medicine could cause. And it really messed with my mind. And this year, 2020, I think is so hard for people because it's challenging a lot of assumptions that people don't realize they have. There's a lot of beliefs that you have that you've built your life on. And the problem is that those beliefs do not stand in the midst of a storm. When things are going well, sometimes those beliefs will keep you going through anything. But when a storm comes, you start to see all the problems with those beliefs and they kind of start to fall apart. And we don't want to admit that we're depending on the wrong thing. So what we end up doing is trying to prop these beliefs up. We say we find some stories, some blogs, some news articles, whatever that'll support this belief, even if they don't seem like they're credible. We talk to more people who believe what we believe. We come up with whatever we can to make these things try and stand up a little bit longer. When really what we need to do is just let them break. Gosh, I know being in empty stores or stores that have all these empty shelves the last few months has really messed with my mind. As far as I'm concerned, I live in this great country that I can buy whatever I want whenever I want it, right? America the Great. And that's what I've always believed about the life I live. But then when I go to the store and suddenly I can't buy whatever I want, there's literally no product available, it kind of messes with your mind. And you kind of have to sit there and question, okay, which part of that story? Is it the shelves? Is it the country? Is it I get whatever I want? Which part of that is a lie? Which part of it am I going to hold on to? Which part of it am I going to fight for? And the answer is not that we go to yell at the grocery store attendant. That won't change any of it. The answer is we step back and say, why am I so angry and what's being questioned here? When our beliefs get questioned, we do one of three things. One, we just ignore it. We just, deny it, like, this is not a problem. I could have just written that entire patient's life story off as just one big problem, right? And any other patient that went like that, any other problems that had arisen, this is just a mistake. It's no big deal. But more often than not, we argue, we fight, kind of like a toddler, give me that back. Oh, no, that's my belief. You can't have it. Whatever. We tend to lash out when our beliefs are questioned. And we need to step back, like I said, and question why we're so angry about things lately. We're seeing this so many places, people arguing about things that it doesn't even make sense, why you're arguing. We're all just so on edge because the way that we thought the world would go is just different. I've got all these friends that are like, 2-parent home, 2 parents working makes perfect sense. And yes, it made perfect sense until we're doing only virtual school, right? Now it doesn't make perfect sense. Things have to change when we're in the midst of a stressful situation, and sometimes that's hard. It just doesn't jive with the way that our whole life has been lived. So the best thing that we can do when our beliefs are questioned, though, is not to just angrily fight with everyone about them. It's to let them break. It's to stop propping them up with, articles that support our ideas and people that agree with us to no end. We need to stop arguing and choose to bend. In the midst of the storm, if you're the tree that won't bend at all, you're the one that goes down. But the ones that can bend are the ones that will withstand through and make it through. To be honest with you, this patient that I was talking about, I literally almost left medicine because of that. Because I'm not telling you all the things, but basically I saw this child for 3 years, and for 3 years we dealt with the repercussions of decisions we had made in that first month of that child's life. And that's crazy to me. That's just crazy. It's still crazy to me now. But I had the choice to sit there and leave medicine. I had the choice to become like the angry doctor who fights for everything and everyone and questions everything everyone wants. Or I had the choice to become the compassionate person who looks at situations in a different way. And we have the choice to do that right now. We have the choice to stop spending all of our time on angry tirades about everything and to step back and say, why am I so angry? What is being threatened right now in my life? And how can I deal with that instead of just arguing with people? We're spending far too much time fighting tooth and nail for things that are just they're not crucial. They're not even the most important thing. And we have to make the choice to bend. We need to make the choice to be the gracious ones, to be the compassionate one, to be the understanding one, to be the giving one, the loving one, the one who actually listens to a way that's different than the way that we grew up, different than the way that we thought life was gonna go, different than the way we were sure, the things we were sure we could stand on that are suddenly we aren't able to stand on them anymore. This is the time to question your politics, your beliefs about race, your beliefs about medicine, your beliefs about health, your beliefs about, everything. Not in a bad way that makes you hate the world, but in a way that makes you change to become a better person because of it. So, I'm looking at the man in the mirror, asking him to change his ways. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well and that you have a good one.